Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Carrie if you're new here, and today we're going to be talking about the 99 to 04 new Edge Mustang and the 5 performance mods I think you should do first. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright you guys, so this is Wiz. He is my 2004 Mustang GT. I've had him going on 3 months now, and these are the 5 things that I think that you should do to help with performance for your car. So 1 and 2 go hand in hand, so we're going to kind of do them together. So let's go ahead and jump in under the hood. So one of the first things I recommend you doing is buying a cold air intake for this car. The intake that comes on them from the factory is very restrictive. I have a style that seals in with the hood, but I've seen multiple ones that go into the fender. This was the one that was on the car when I bought it. Personally, the ones in the fender, there's pros and cons to it. The biggest con, I have one in my Subaru that tucks in the filter, but there is it's like a plastic cover on the bottom of your car in the Subarus that covers that filter, and if it comes off, then you have a chance of getting water in it when you're driving the car in the rain. Granted, I don't normally drive my Mustang in the rain, so I guess it wouldn't really be that big of a problem if something like that did happen. But I'm happy with this one. I like this one. It looks clean, and it's nice to be able to see the filter because I actually need to clean my filter. So yeah. With that being said, the second thing I think you should do is exhaust. The stock exhaust is very restrictive. I'm currently running BBK long tube headers that go into an X pipe in no cats into 2 SLP loudmouths. It's a dual exhaust. And so when you're putting more air in, more air has to come out. And if it's restricting too much, it's not good. Plus, it gives you the bonus of having a nice sounding Mustang, because you know stock doesn't sound that well. The third thing while we're under the hood is a catch can. You can never go wrong with having a catch can on anything, especially if you're thinking about supercharging it. It's always a good thing to get any of that blow-by oil out of there. They're usually not too bad. They usually range from around $60 to $100, depending. I want to say this kit, when I looked at it, was like 60 or 70. And I want to say Devin's JLT catch can was like 100, 150 for his S550. But that's definitely a number one thing. It's a cheap thing. Well, it's not a cheap. It's an easy to install thing. And you can get DIY kits, and sometimes you can get ones that just bolt right on. I think when we installed the one on the S550, it literally took like 3 seconds. It was just a little clip, and snapped it right back in. I need to actually get one for my new Shelby. I just need to find out how, to make sure, because that car's very rare, and so making sure the pieces fit together is what I just have to figure out, because it's not like I can go into American Muscle and be like, oh yeah, it's a 2014 Mustang GT 350. They're going to be like, they didn't make a 350. I'm like, yes, they did. It was one that Shelby did. So anyways, enough of that being said, I just have to double check with that thing. So the fourth thing that I really recommend on the car is going to be the suspension. These cars sit pretty high up to start with, and I just don't think they handle as well higher up. So this one has a 1.5 inch lowering spring. So whether you do lowering springs, coilovers, bags, it's really going to help with the performance, because the car's lower to the ground, so it'll be able to hug things a little bit better than a stock one would. Because no offense, those things were pretty high up stock. This one actually scrapes the headers if I go over speed bumps. So we just avoid speed bumps in this car. So the last thing, we're actually going to jump inside, and then we'll do a quick recap for you guys. The last thing is a short throw shifter. The shifter knobs on these cars are really high up stock. So being able to lower it down makes it a little bit better. You won't hit your hands as hard as some people do, but the thing I like about it is it's a more firm shift. Like, you could feel it go into a gear a lot better and hear the click, and I really like that a whole lot better than the stock one. My Subaru has a stock shifter in it. It doesn't have a short throw shifter, and I just don't like it, especially after driving this for a little bit. Yeah, it's just not as good. So I highly recommend that. Usually I think you can pick them up for around $200 for this car. This is a Hurst. I would recommend, I think it's a MGW Yes, an MGW. I'd recommend probably that one. Devin has a Barton short throw shifter in his, it's a billet aluminum Barton short throw shifter in his Mustang. And then the Shelby, I think it's a Ford Performance. Not 100% sure. I'm still trying to figure out more information about that car. It's one day at a time with it. So let's hop outside and we'll do a quick recap for you guys. So, as I said, the intake and the exhaust definitely lets the car breathe better and then push it out a little bit better. And it feels a whole lot smoother after that. Any car doing an intake and exhaust, especially if you can get those cats off and help with the restriction, it's very nice. And then the second thing we talked about the third thing we talked about was the catch can. Usually a pretty straightforward, simple mod to do. And it just helps with that blow-by oil, which to me makes a big difference. Then we talked about the suspension. As I said, I'm running a BBK 1.5 inch lowering springs. I thought about doing bags. I was going to do bags. I apologize for that. My buddy's got my WRX and he was just calling to make sure it was okay. He went somewhere. Anyways. So, as I said, I've got a BBK 1.5 inch lowering. We talked about bags. However, I went and bought this Shelby. So, I'm not going to do anything major like that to this right now. Maybe a little bit later down the road we might get a bag set up. But Devin also pointed out, he was like, for the same price as bags, we could put the Coyote motor coming out of his car in it. So let me know if that's something you'd like to see, because I don't know. I'm 50-50 with it right now, because I could put it in a older Mustang. But anyways, after suspension, I recommend the short throw shifter, just because it's a good solid shift. It goes into gear, you hear the clicks. To me, it just feels like I'm more in control, and I know for sure that it's in gear and everything. I'm trying to think of the words to explain it. It just has that nice click. It's got a nice feel, and it feels more like a performance part versus the stock. I just recommend that. Two other things while we're here. You don't have to do them, but another thing I always recommend with any Mustang is the struts. If you can get some kind of support braces, the strut towers on the top, bottom, jacking rails, anything to stiffen up the body and help with any twisting and rolling, especially if you've got a drag car or something that you race. It helps with the flex and just gives the body more support. And the last thing is the 373 gears. Phenomenal. I've got them in this car, and this car's actually got a GT 500 diff cover on it. I want to say it's probably from the earlier SN97s. Not 100% sure, but I would probably say it's probably from a 06, 07 maybe. Not 100% sure. The guy I bought it from couldn't tell me. But so I actually have the 373 and our 2014 GT 350, and I think Devin's Mustang has 373 gears. So yeah, overall, those are the 5 performance mods that I recommend. Just gives the car a better feeling, better handling. And the biggest thing is handling. Making a car handle good is phenomenal. Being able to go into those turns and everything. This car handles really well. I might change up the suspension later on in its life to more of a touring suspension. That way it handles a little bit better on these back roads. Because look at this curve right here. This whole road is like this. And just to zoom by it, it's just so much fun. I love this place. But anyways, you guys, y'all have a great day. If you have any comments, please let me know. Anything you suggest doing to the car, maybe you haven't seen me do to it yet, let me know. I'm always open to your opinions. You know that, guys. So anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Y'all hustle harder.